How's it going, everybody? Wherever you listen to this podcast right here, this is episode 140 of the TempahZone podcast with your host, me, Amir Max, and that's all facts. And ladies and gentlemen, my special guest in the Zoom building got some vibey ass music, man. When I listen to this dude's music, man, I just really love the energy he brings. And when he performs live too, shit, some of the songs sound even better. It's like, that's when you know you're a really dope artist, when you can elevate your music in those both aspects and really just give something to the people. And I mean, this dude's music is just, it's like the hot shit. You know what I'm saying? You hear it, it's like, yeah, this dude's like doing contemporary at the right way. It's like, this is very cool, very just vibey. It's just a great way to describe it. Ladies and gentlemen, I got SOL16 in the Zoom building with me, man. What's going on, dog?
What is up? What is up, Amir, bro? I appreciate that. Dope intro, bro. Yeah, what's going on, people? I am SOL16, you know what I'm saying? I'm a rapper from Lynn, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm actually born in Boston, but you know, I moved in, and that's when, you know, I started doing music and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, I got some vibey music out right now. So go on Instagram, YouTube, you know what I'm saying? All that. Check me out. Let me know what you're saying. What you're feeling, all that. And I started making music basically like it was for fun. You know what I'm saying? It was
it's always that, you know, you still got to start out for fun, man. You know, I'd be surprised if someone started out music and like took it seriously from the jump. It'd be very impressive. It's like,
that'd be mad
who
weird.
raised you to do that? Yeah, it's like, how'd you get? Yeah, then you got to ask some questions like, who are your parents? Like, you know, yeah.
Most def. I started making music like for fun. It was just like kind of like a creative outlet. I started that really like when I was in like middle school for fun, and then as it gradually like went on, you know what I'm saying, I learned about SoundCloud. I put a couple tracks out on there just to see like, you know, what the hype was about, all this stuff. Yeah. And at the time, I think it was like 2016. So that's when like, you know, you had artists like Lil Yachty, he was coming out. I believe it was Drum was coming out too. You know, Trippie Redd, they were on the come up, all that, the underground scene of like, you know, SoundCloud, all that. And it was like a cool time because like you could be creatively, like I feel in a different way where like, you know, like they broke open the doors for like us to be different, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of the music that we were hearing were kind of like, it was good, you know what I'm saying? Obviously it's the, you know, that old OG music, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like different with what we were hearing. So for us growing up with that, it was cool. So I was like, all right, let me try this. Put a couple tracks out, and it was funny because I wasn't really trying or anything, and got a couple hundred on one, then, you know, a couple thousand on another, and then, you know, it hit like 10,000 on one song, and I'm like, this could be something.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, from just doing it for fun, it was like weird because I was in a tough situation at the time. I was actually homeless when I was really like kind of doing, like putting the music on SoundCloud and stuff. I was living at my boy Raymond's house, and he had an extra room. And, you know, I was staying there because I was in foster care. I had a little situation with that. So that kind of spiraled out of control. But, you know, to get out of that, get my mind out, music was a way. And,
absolutely. Yeah.
And once I kind of started getting the numbers, I was like, yo, this is kind of cool. It could possibly be something. And then I was hearing, you know, around school, everyone was like, yo, like, I'm hearing this song, I'm hearing that song. And I'm like, how do you guys hear my music? Like, this is weird. Like, I'm in Madhouse, and people are like, yo, D, like, when are you dropping music? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? So, you know, from that, it was kind of like, let me see where this really could go. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I took it serious.
Yeah. I mean, it's always a good feeling when people like are hyping you up, letting you know, like, hey, man, like, yo, your shit's actually really good. Like, keep going, keep pushing. You know, dude, that's always such a good feeling. And, you know, it's always so fascinating to me, like, you know, that beginning part of, you know, making music, man. It's like sometimes I think about it because just how long I've been like doing it for, man. Like, I miss that shit sometimes. Like those first moments when you make music, I feel like a lot of artists can relate to like that first moment when you're making it. Like, it's just like a whole different thing. It's like people like, it's your first introduction. It's like, you'll never get that moment back. You know what I mean? So it's always good when it hits right.
You know, you're hearing these sounds for the first time. You're actually putting your first lyrics to something, and you're like, oh, this kind of sounds groovier, you know, how I want. This is amazing. Yeah, no, I definitely feel you. Now, it's not like that doesn't happen, but, you know.
Yeah, you still love, obviously, yeah.
The studio, you hear, like, the microphone, you're like, yo, that's me on that record. Like that. I feel you, man. I feel you. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then and it's that thing you're always chasing for. You're always trying to seek that next song you make that makes you just go like, oh my god, like yes we got one, or yes we got 5 or 6 of them. Like that's
Yeah.
and that's just that journey that you're forever going for, man. So it's just dope to hear that you've just been on that journey, and with your artist name being SOL16, I was trying to guess what it meant, and I was like wondering like, what does SOL16 mean? I'm like, what does it stand for? What's the 16? I was like, I gotta know. I gotta ask. I was like, I was gonna avoid asking because I don't like usually asking artists because sometimes they don't want to give that away. But what's the reasoning behind it?
I definitely like. It's kind of funny. I wanted to hold off on it. I'm not gonna lie, but what I'm saying. Like, you're so cool, and this is such a dope experience. Hell yeah, I'm gonna tell people. It's kind of has like it rooted from kind of different areas. So one of the areas was Iron Man. So when I was watching one of the Iron Man movies, I believe it was like the second one or the third one, he had like the glasses, and the glasses he called them like, I don't know, they were like STEM or something like that, but it meant like, you know what I mean, like that, each word meant something. And it was like super like bionic, like focal vision, like he could see everything. So it was like that. I was like, yo, that's mad cool. Like maybe I should do something like that for my artist name, because my original artist name was Exit, and that was XXIT. But at the time, so much stuff was like going on, and what I'm saying, there was other artists who had X in their name. So I was like, why keep that? It's probably going to get flushed out. Everyone's going to be using, X soon. So, and then there was DMX too. So I was like, what I'm saying, don't want to do that. The OG already kind of get it.
Yeah.
So I had to think like, what I'm saying, of something else, and, RIP DMX. And then I was thinking about anime. I love the anime aspect of like, I grew up with Dragon Ball Z, Inuyasha, Yu Yu Hakusho, all that. And, it's kind of funny because I was looked at kind of weird growing up in school for liking that, because I wasn't like the typical, what I'm saying, like kid who was into sports or into like, just doing the hanging out after school and just getting into trouble. I was really just like go home and look at creative stuff, and anime is so colorful and dope and awesome, like Naruto too. I was like, okay, let me get something from there. And the name Soul, it came kind of like it was like 3 years after I was like really into music. And I went through a couple of things that kind of like told me like you should change your name, and it kind of made me feel good too, because from Exit to Soul, it's like a big growth. I have some tracks that are still online to this day as Exit, and you can go and listen to those, and you can see that's when I really you'll hear it. You'll be like, oh, this is when he first started making music. But it's cool. I leave that on there for people who want to become artists too, because I feel like it's good for a track record to go back and show others like, nah, you can have songs that like aren't great. And you know what I'm saying? You can have them out if that's what you choose to do. But back to Soul, basically, I was watching the anime Death Note, and these little beings in it, the Shinigami. So, I'm very spiritual myself. My grandmother, she was a witch. So, very spiritual vibes and stuff like that. So I was like, why don't I be like a good Shinigami? Because in Death Note, I guess they were all bad. They weren't really bad, but they were, in that dimension, whatever. They were super, super like, I don't know, out of the way and kind of bad, but kind of good. So I was like, let me be Shinigami of Light. So that's where Soul comes from. So you have Soul, and then 16 is my birthday number. So saying that the Shinigami of Light was born on the 16th. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that stemmed from, as a little combination. That's where I got my name from.
That's hard. Yeah. Part of me was thinking like, and if it's just has to do with you just spelling like soul differently, like the soul, but it also stands for something too. Yeah. So that's where I was going to. The 16, I was like, well, there's definitely some significance to that too, because I know, the whole numbers thing is definitely, everyone has their own meaning with whatever numbers are to them. So I figured, So man, that's tight. That's definitely tight as fuck. You know what I mean? It wasn't just something random you just thought of.
It definitely came in time, and it was like, I kind of didn't even want to be there. I wanted to stay Exit, but things happen in the world and life, and so I was like, it's time for a little growth. And it's just the one thing I'm gonna say is don't really do that without telling your fans, because your fan base.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I was like going through so much that I didn't have the time to be like, hey everyone, I'm now Soul. I kind of just popped out at a show one day and I'm like, so, I would say to newcomers or people that are looking to do this and want to make sure their fans are equipped with them, if you're changing your name, make sure you do let them know because you'll lose half your fan base.
But yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely have to like find the right way to transition it, let them know, build it up. And if you're gonna make that change, like definitely like don't backtrack. Like, I've seen people change the name and then go right back to the old name. I've seen it twice. I know people personally who've done it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's confusing. I feel like that would upset the fans, if anything, having to go to this one and that one,
Yeah, it's always so funny to me when I like it's a rare occurrence, but I've seen it happen before. But yeah, man, it's you want to make sure you build that up properly there. You were mentioning a Death Note with with your rap name and how, being inspired by anime. I feel like over the last few years I've seen just more anime and hip hop tie in together. I feel like there's always been a tie with like you look at hip hop and basketball, with like and that's always been something together. But now I see like even more so like hip hop and anime is just so intermingled. Yeah. And as someone who's really much into hip hop, but I respect anime and I think it's a great medium, but I don't know much about it. I gotta ask someone like you, is it about those two entities that just intermingle so well and that like people just blend the two a lot with the art?
Yeah, my fault. Like I thought you were not kind of knowledgeable about that. So in case you didn't know about the Death Note and all.
Yeah, I the only anime I've watched then all the way through as of recently is Attack on Titan. That's the only one, and I've actually So I want to start watching more. Trust me, I've there's so much to choose from though. Like I feel like I just gotta like just commit to one or maybe one that's newer, so that way I don't have to freaking watch like 600 episodes. Yeah. So.
It's like I don't know, like the correlation definitely came from, I would definitely say like the SoundCloud like scene. Like everybody in the SoundCloud scene back in 2016, 15, from when I was going on there too, just like seeing it. It's like you see it even with like the OGs now with like so much internet, you can go and see pictures of people and I don't know if they're real or not, but you see Snoop Dogg with like books of Naruto and you see pictures of certain artists with like Naruto shirts and Dragon Ball Z shirts and Inuyasha. It's like I feel like the correlation really is like certain animes back in the day, even animes that I don't know about, were very hip hop like esque and like really like kind of went with the mood of it, and even me, I'm finding like one of my favorite animes that I feel like you would like this one because it's kind of like it's not one of the kiddish ones, but one of like the overrated ones that everyone talks about. So you're like, I just don't want to watch it. Mm-hmm. Samurai Champloo is such an amazing anime, and the music in it is made by I believe a Japanese DJ, and he goes by Nujabes, and he has like very lo-fi, like just smooth hip hop, like Flying Lotus, if you ever heard of him.
Okay, yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so stuff like that. That anime is like very slow paced, but it's like super interesting because it takes place in like rural Japan, and they have like people like doing rap. There's some episodes where they're literally in Japan like rapping and stuff, and it's so cool to see that because you think it's only us over here doing it, but maybe just like it's the correlation of like it happens everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where it really comes from. It just really fits the mood of like hip hop, and there's so much that relates into it when you look into emotion and the fact that like hip hop is artistry. It's emotion. That's visual emotion. We do sonic emotion. They do visual. So it's literally the same.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think I feel like in terms of like just like anime in general, I think a lot of times like people don't realize like anime is so vast. Like if you just say you watch anime, like there's like there's like just a shit ton of subgenres within that.
Yeah.
Like I don't think people understand, like, yo, like there are layers to that shit. Like like you can find whatever, and like some of it gets fucked up, some of it's obviously meant for kids, some of it's like for teenage, but like you can find anything you want in anime. So I always find it odd when people like find it weird if like grown people like watch all these grown people like watch anime. It's like, have you seen the stories that are told in these things? It's fucking nuts.
It's dramatic, bro. Like I don't know why, but a lot of the anime is just for I think drama reasons, and I'm noticing that like they have like someone's losing their mom, someone's losing their friend, someone's losing half their village, someone's losing like everyone in their village. It's like all these crazy stuff. So I definitely feel you. I don't think there's an age gap on anime at all.
Not at all.
For everyone, there's horror, like you said, horror anime, there's space anime, there's anime about old Japan, new Japan, futuristic, death, life, like mad stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's just like, and that just goes to the whole point of like animation. Like people just look at animation, they don't take it seriously. Like you could look at how the Oscars treat it. They literally put animation in like best animation. Like it'll just be a category for best animation. It's like, that's not really that fair. Like animation could be like, it's like a kid's movie versus like a movie for adults versus like a claymation. It's like just all going up against each other. It's like, that's not fair. Yeah. So
definitely, bro. I feel you.
Yeah. So that's just that whole thing I've seen, man. But yeah, like, I mean, and even like with, your music, man, like, you tying all that all together, I think it helps people get a better understanding of who you are. You know what I mean? Like they can see like, oh, okay, he's into that. Like you're showing yourself too. So I think you using that in your music, it's going to help, because being more personal in your music and sharing that stuff is always going to garner more fans,
No, and I appreciate that, bro. Like that you notice that, because I try to incorporate something different, and, it's being used a lot more now. But definitely when I was doing it back in the day, I was saying like, certain things I grew up with, like really Inuyasha and Dragon Ball Z was my favorite ones in Samurai Champloo, because that came out like, on 2.9. It was like very, very old. I'd say like Senzu Beam, or I'm about to like hit you like Piccolo or something like that, about to go Saiyan. It's like stuff like that too. It's like not negative, it's something that I think is, positive, but in the same way, it's kind of like actiony, it's like shows you have force, and that's good too, because it's like, you don't always want to come off and say, you want to hurt people, or, you want to be aggressive. And because I think at the end of the day, we want to show that we're a force, but everyone's a peaceful force. We don't want to be negative. I don't think anyone wants to hurt and wants to, influence anyone to be negative in any type of way.
Yeah. No, exactly, man. Like, when I listen to your music, I'm not getting like any type of negative energy or violence. It's like, and it's clear, like, what you're going for. And I think that's something just very important to stick with a theme in your music. You know what I mean? And, obviously with you, doing that, man, it's just dope to see. And obviously you being from Lynn as well. I feel like that's also very dope, man. I feel like Lynn is underrated. Like, I feel like I've seen a lot of artists from Lynn who do a lot of stuff, man. Like, talk about the scene in Lynn, Mass, and how do you feel that's going right now? Like, what are some things you see out of there that some people don't shed light on?
It's so awesome. Like, back when I was like, just doing it for fun, really, like, and I still do it for fun now, but I'm more serious about it, obviously. So it's like, there was a lot of, older kids that I knew that were really just trying to do the rap thing, and they were really doing it. We had a couple people, rap groups, I think they were from Lynn, called Fame and Juliet. They did, they would go to schools and do like talent shows, or they would perform at weddings and proms and stuff like that. So that was very encouraging. And, even me, I kind of grew up seeing, music, because one of my friends, Daniel Donator, he was performing, with his guitar at like almost everything, school events. He got invited to perform at the Boston Red Sox, which was awesome. So always being close to him, I always seen music within Lynn, and, it's just good seeing that too, because that kind of grew and inspired other people. But now it's like, there's so many people that do music. It's like, I don't know why it's not as, known, you know what I'm saying? There's groups like KMF that are doing music. Like I said, my boy Daniel, he's doing music. My Durag boy partner Smigs, he does music. So many people, and it's not just like rap music. There's rock groups that I even know because before I got into rap,
when I was mentioning Lynn, I was mentioning like just everybody. Like I've seen Lynn
it's like
mentioned a lot more than you'd expect from some people to see, like
yeah. There's DJs that I know. There's producers. There's a lot of producers, just people who make melodies. Like it's kind of crazy. I don't know. I think it's more of just like now that there's so many, not even in just Lynn, like it's kind of like the thing to be an artist now. Everyone wants to do it. And I think that now that there's so much, it's just hard to really get that traction to, those who may have been doing it longer, or those who are just like, should be known, I feel, or you feel, on a larger scale. It's just, I feel like there's so much, and that's not a bad thing. That's a beautiful thing. I think everyone, will get their chance anyway. There's 8 million people on the planet. Your song is going to be heard at least by one person, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not go for it? I mean, you can't be mad at the fact that technology has gotten so easily accessible and cheaper to record high quality music. You know what I mean? Like I you can record at home and make a viral song. You could, and if you know engineer, bam, there you go. You can make it. You can make it out. Yeah. So like, I don't understand why people are like, well, everybody does music now. It's like, well, look at what we can do to make it. Like, why not try? Yeah, why not try? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't fall.
If it's a creative outlet, like, yeah, I'd say do it.
Yeah, and I think sometimes some people just like pick at it because they, it's kind of saying something about themselves. Like they kind of wish they could try a creative outlet, because I think everybody should have some sort of creative push, but some people just don't take it there for whatever reason. It could be a multitude of reasons. So
yeah, no, most def.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely one of those things, man. You mentioned Smigs and the Do-Rag Boys. I love the EP that y'all dropped. And I was listening to it obviously prior before we started this, but just talk about what made you decide to drop a collab EP and put that out.
Yeah, so like when I was in high school, really, like I was doing music. I had my boy, Smigs, and my other boy Chip. At the time, my first song I ever recorded was with my boy Chip, and that's called Henny, I believe, that Henny. So we did that, and then we did another song too, and we listened to those. He was letting me know how everything was, and when we dropped that, it was so cool because everyone was like, "Oh, this is such a fire, song. This is so cool," and it only got like 500 plays. It wasn't like anything cool, but for the time, to see someone like make a song and actually sound like what is out there, people were like, yo, this is insane. Mm-hmm. So then after that, time went on, and me and Smigs, we started talking about like, music. He was like, yo, I'm rapping now. And I was like, oh, I've been rapping, doing my thing. He's like, yeah, I know. So I was like, why don't we make something together? So from that, we started collabing, and he got me connected with some people in KMF, and that was pretty cool of him. So I met Chu, and he's an awesome producer. Like he makes all my music basically. And he's out of the world with like how he does it. He produces, he makes his own music too, so you can listen to him, and he's just a different sound too, and that's what I love about him. He's like kind of like very like hardcore, but not at the same time. It's like not too hard, you know what I'm saying? But from that, me and Smigs, we was like, yo, we have sounds. Why don't we make something? You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't we really try to do something, put a mixtape together, EP, something. So from that, we started talking, making the songs, and experiencing life and bonding, and just talking about what directions we could go with music, or what could come from this, or how far we want to take it, how far we want to like push the music. And then we kind of sat down, we got it together, and once everything was settled, we kind of made the tape.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. It's dope that y'all talked about it, prior to going into it. I feel like sometimes people just end up making music and it's like, oh shit, we have 5 songs. Let's make another 5 more. Let's make an EP, or make a project. You guys actually from rip were like, nah, we got a game plan going in. And I think, you can definitely tell with it going in. You guys had a music video. Like you guys, like it was very, very, y'all really went for it on that. You know what I mean? And
thank you, man. We really did. We tried our thing, and it was super cool to even have all the experiences, because later on, after we made the tape, basically we had all the music for it. He was like, oh, I'm going out to Cali. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm not doing nothing. He was like, so let's go. So
oh shit.
Yeah, and that was so cool because he showed me so many different places because he went the summer before, and we was in places like the Hollywood Hills. We recorded a music video there. I was down in like the places where the stars are, where everyone gets their like walk of fame type thing,
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, celebrities and stuff. So we was there. We went to the Casino Boulevard, just doing mad stuff, just experiencing life, and took that experience too and made even more songs after that we could give to people. And that was so dope because I was like, yo, this is a win-win. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, it was so fire. It was.
Oh man, yeah, no, that's dope. I had no idea you went to Cali to do all that, man. Oh, that's fire. Hell yeah, man. No, that's great. That's great. And I think it's dope seeing, just artists collab and make those type of projects, man. I think you learn about, yourself when you work with other people. It just gives, the fans something different to chew on, you know what I mean? So
Hell yeah.
yeah, especially, from, staying out from the single, your singles that you got, man, a song like Dragonfly Dash, bro. Like that's
Yeah.
that's that shit I hear where I'm like, man, like I could hear that shit going like viral on like TikTok or something, man.
Thank you, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So,
definitely was a fire song. Like I did that actually with my little brother. I think that was my little brother's first song ever.
mhm.
And we did that song out of just fun. I was like, let's go to the studio one day, like and just have fun. Let's make something. And that's the cool thing too. It's like you don't always have to go into it like, oh, I want to make a song to get like viral or I want to get famous. Just go to the studio one time and just have fun. Like what I'm saying? Like see what you make.
Yeah, I think sometimes people go to the studio just way too serious. You know what I mean? It's tough, but it's tough though. Like if you're spending money and like you want to make sure the product comes out good, like it's tough to find that balance of like, let's go here and make something good and let's have fun. Sometimes you get caught
Yeah,
up in that. But I mean, you're going with your little bro, like so the vibe definitely is a lot less tension.
yeah. But even him, he's like, oh, like I want to make this song like go far. You know what I'm saying? And everyone kind of does, and that's the goal too. So even when you do have fun and it comes like something like that, you said it could go viral, then maybe you push it after. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. Just see what happens after the fact, man. Yeah, absolutely. And you got the the project as a Do Rag Boys. You got a lot of singles coming out too, man. But I'm curious, going forward for SOL16, do you plan on dropping more singles? Or can we expect an album from you? What's next to
Yeah.
come for SOL16 that you could share with the people?
Right now it's like life happens for everyone, so I'm not gonna front. Like I'm one of those people who like constantly like I don't know what it is, but I go through stuff and just recently been through a lot of things. So I've been on hold with music, but it's kind of funny that you're asking that, because a lot of people they've been kind of like, yo, what's going on? Like, where's some new music? Like, coworkers, friends, family members, all that. But
That's
the
good
new
though. That's
music,
good. People are asking. Like, that means
yeah,
people
yeah,
give a shit, man. It's hard to it's hard that people give a shit. Like that can't take
yeah.
that for granted.
It's
Yeah.
a little bit of pressure, but it's pushed me to work on a new sound. And what I've been working on now is like, I'm getting older. So I'm 25 now. I started making the music when I was probably like 19, 20. So it was like cool just like looking at all these artists. But unfortunately, a lot of the artists that like I looked up to, they passed away. And it's like that's affected me too, but kind of helped me mature in a way because I was like thinking about their growth and it made me look back at like their history and really study them and like what they were doing. And it's like everyone has that time where you're making fun music kind of about just like what's going on and experiences. You want everyone to have fun, and then there's the real life music, and that's what I've actually been working on now and what I've been kind of creating. And it sounds so amazing. Like I am so ready to get this music out to you guys because the producers, they've been saying it's good. I've been collaborating with other people now and just trying to create new sounds, and they're so different. So I can't wait for you guys to hear this.
Oh man. Yeah, no, that's dope to hear, man. And yeah, that's just some real shit you're saying, man. And you really hit me with that when you just mentioned, just how like seeing your favorite artists, pass. Like I think about that shit damn near every day. I think about I will just hear people play Pop Smoke. I'm like, dude, we fucking lost Pop Smoke. Like, yo,
Yeah, bro.
we fucking lost Juice World. Like, yo, we fucking lost XXXTentacion. These guys were like under 21. Like, and I'm just mentioning the young, those under that age. And I think I think you get older and you realize how beautiful life is, and you get to this age and you're like, damn, like those guys didn't get to the age I'm at now. It's like sometimes you gotta stop and think about that shit.
Yeah, no, it definitely humbles you. Hell yeah, bro. I definitely see that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I hate sometimes though that like I see correlations because it's like, I feel like, growing up, you see songs of them and what they're doing and it's even like one-liners or like, just them taking certain pictures. It's like, oh, that's me. You know what I'm saying? In some aspects, like and that could have been me. So, it gets just like a little weird when you look up to a lot of people who have passed because it's not like you don't know where, what I'm saying, not to take it, but it's like you were kind of looking up to people and it's like, oh, well, now they're gone. So it's like now it's a little bit more pressure you feel on you, kind of giving the narrative of where you want to go and stuff. So yeah, man, it's definitely hits you a lot and affects you, Rest in peace, Mac Miller, too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
His
absolutely.
definitely saved me a lot. Like, I won't even lie. My depression times, bro, listened to a lot of Mac Miller, man. And it was like his adult music. You know what I'm saying? He had the hits and the fun music, but it's like kind of crazy as you see towards, it's weird to say his demise, the real music, like realer music, and that's what the maturity and stuff and just like life. So that's helping me too. It's like, okay to do that because it's all about growth, at the same time. And that was him growing, from what
Yeah.
I saw.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's always fascinating to just see like artists just completely do a 180, I guess to say for lack of a better phrase, on their whole sound, music, just aura. And I think, Mac Miller's a great example of that, man. And, to see him just, become, what he was, to do what he did in the time he was here, man, it's just something you got to just, tip your hat to. And, for
Yeah.
you, man, I got to ask you just cause I'm curious, it sounds like, you broke through like a writer's block. You broke through like this like lull period. What were some things that helped you break out of that like low point to write again, to create and to do something better? What helped you?
Really it was like kind of just getting new inspiration. I didn't realize how, I'm realizing it even more now. It's like one thing I used to do is like constantly watch the same stuff or you go back to the same things just because it's comfort. And, especially when you're going through, times of like, you're having a tough time at work or things aren't going for you, money's low or whatever, something like that. You go back to like, the same video game, same song, same, it's good to try different stuff because that's you growing and that's you able to get new inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like if you keep doing the same thing, like Einstein said, I love his quote, doing the same thing and expecting something different, you're just gonna go insane. And if you're looking for more healing and healing in different ways and trying to discover how to better yourself, it's good to try new things. So that's one thing, like just even trying new foods. I've been eating healthier, I've been going on different routines. I've been going to the gym. You've actually inspired me, to go to the gym. I've been training with my brother, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that, just, because I'm usually not active. My body's all right, I'm not a Hercules or anything, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got a gut. So, but now I'm like, going to the gym. So it's bettering.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that. I've inspired you to, get in the gym, man. Just one day at a time with it, man. Yeah. But yeah, I think you gotta try new shit out and just, explore. I always joke with my friends. I'm like, oh, you play golf? Like, yo, let me know when you play golf. Like, I need new things to do. I'm doing the same shit. Like, I'm fine. I feel great, but like, I need new things to do. Damn it. Like, I do the same shit. Like, I can't. I gotta expand my horizon here. Like my friends telling me pickleball. I'm like, what the fuck's pickleball? Like
Okay.
I'm just trying to expand my horizon, man. I think, and I just think sometimes like it's like, but man, maybe even more so black man, sometimes we feel like this is what you're supposed to do. Sometimes, society makes you feel that way. And I think sometimes you got to say, oh, fuck that. Let me try this out. Let me do this. Let me eat that. Let me go there. So
Yeah. Get out of your, box, man. Definitely. And that's a part of living life. And, I think too, like what I want to like kind of remind everybody of too while we're talking, to the people, it's like, dude, we kind of live, everyone who's here still, we kind of lived through like the end of the world. That pandemic,
that was just crazy.
everything, like, oh my gosh, like I had so much planned and lined up, but then that like, in itself even created like a little bit of social anxiety for me, not being able to go to places and now going into places and having to have the mask. And, you know, it's just like so much like type of tension on different types of people and different types of moods. So it's like, yo, like, shout out to everyone who's still doing it, because it's really super hard now to do it, because we're coping, even though it's been like, you know, 2 years after, but still, like, everything was shut down. Everything.
Like
So,
on a halt, like on a drop of a dime. Like, yo, nope, can't go out. Like, yeah, dude. I think, I think about that shit a good amount too. Like, man, like that 2020, March 2020 was crazy. Like those first 3 months, like, holy shit, cooped up like, in the house.
I was working at a convenience store, and I would go to work, and before, you know, traffic, people, you know, it would take me like 30 minutes, and I lived really 10 minutes from the place, but just like walking over the streets and all that. After that happened, like the first couple weeks, the streets were empty. Like,
nuts,
bag looked like, you know what I'm saying? The
tumbleweeds.
Yeah. I was like, what? And I was still going because I was mandatory, because it was gas. So some people, you know, I had like 10 cars within an 8-hour shift. Like, it was insane.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
some doomsday shit. Yeah, so you feel it on another level there. Yeah, man. Oh my god.
Yeah. I was out there, man. I was in the fields.
Yeah, couldn't get haircuts. That was fucking nuts. Yeah, we were.
Yeah, people don't do it, man. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, posting shit. Yeah, oh my god, bro. One of these days, I need to like just share like the things I did during the pandemic on my social media. But,
you should.
Yeah, one of these days, we'll see. We'll see, man. SOL16. We're coming up to the end of the episode here, man. I just want to say I really appreciate your time here. Before we wrap this up, man, I definitely want to ask you this. I ask this to every guest I have on, because I think every artist has something different and have different experiences. So it's only right for me to ask this for you, man. Someone who I really respect and the music I really fuck with. What's some advice you'd give to any artist starting out? What's some tips that you'd give them that you wish someone gave you when you started out making music?
Yeah, thank you, brother. I appreciate that, bro, because I fuck with your music so heavy too, and it's like, I'm so glad I was able to even perform with you, because, you know, not to stay away from the question a little bit, but like,
that was a cool show.
Dude, it was at the mall. That was like so cool. People were stopping, mamas and baby strollers, like, hey, that's fire, and then keep going, like, what, bro? Like, so.
And there were times there was like a lot of people watching. That was different. That was totally different. I'll never forget.
Shout out Hero and Bars Over Bars, because they set all that up too, and you know, Hall of Family Vintage, because that's where it was. But no, your music, it was like reminding me of like rock. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I grew up listening to rock. So I was like the kid in the house where, you know, my mom's listening to Mary J. Blige, my older brother's listening to Lil Wayne, my little brother, he's listening to like, you know, Drake, and it's like, I'm listening to Linkin Park.
Yeah.
And they're all like, they like, my music would come on and they're like, what the? They're like, bro, that, like, this is your music, because that's what they would call me and stuff. And it's like, so don't be afraid to embrace your difference, because it was cool. You know what I'm saying? I heard your music and I'm like, yo, I was like, his music is different. Like, stuff that I fuck with. I was like, yo, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll find those people that have those similarities and those differences too. So embrace, you know, your creative difference and where you're taking stuff from, because even, you know, people like Nirvana, Foo Fighters, you know, Falling in Reverse, you know, that's just, you know, some of the names from the rock scene that influences my music. Little do people know, you know. And I now in the rap scene growing up, it's like, you know, I listen to Kid Cudi, Travis Scott, you know, Playboi Carti, stuff like that influences me a little bit now too. And to be real, it's like, don't be afraid to know who influences you, man. You know what I'm saying? Embrace that, but don't, you know, copy people. Don't try to be them. You know what I'm saying? Just be like, oh, this sounds nice, and this is what I like, and you know what I'm saying? Try to find your own groove. You know, a lot of people, they're kind of scared to, you know, embrace who influences them, because they feel like they're a copycat or that's not cool. And it's like, well, that's what you like, you know, and you gotta like what you like, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, like, everybody is influenced by somebody. It's how it goes. Like, the you know, someone like as praised as a Drake or Kendrick, they were inspired by the people before them. And someone like Jay-Z, he was inspired by Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane, you know, like, inspired by like everybody's inspired by somebody. So like, you gotta, you know, be inspired by them. It is what it is, but in time you do have to figure out your own shit, and that can take a long time. It's not overnight.
That's so fun too, though, you know, and that's the I think where you get more serious with it, you're like, who am I? You know, you make it for fun, you're getting these influences, but then, you know, at the end of the day, I think you want to be serious about it. You're like, okay, what is my sound? What am I trying to get out to the people and my fans and who's listening to me? You know, yeah.
Yeah, man. That's real stuff. Great advice, man. It's definitely something, you know, to make sure people embrace that and just you know, just go with it. Just definitely go with it, man. Definitely feel that there. SOL16, thank you very much, dog.
Thank
For
you,
being
brother.
on
I
this
appreciate
episode.
you having me here, bro. This was dope, bro. We got to
Yeah,
do this.
yeah, man. No, this was a really good one, man. Definitely, absolutely, dog. Where can the people reach you? Where can they follow you? What's some things you want to plug before we wrap it up?
Yeah, 90 Soul 16. So that's 90 SOL16 on Instagram. That's where I am now. I don't really be on anything else besides YouTube. That's where some of my music is, but you can find that through my Instagram. So just go there and you'll find everything. I'm gonna be dropping some snippets here and there because, like I said, I'm working on a bunch of new music and it's sounding great. So yeah, I just want to give that to you people, and you know, hopefully that helps people find vibes, creativity. You know, help them go through things and you know, come back full circle. And yeah.
Oh yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. SOL16, y'all. Really appreciate it, man. For real.
Yes,
Hell
sir,
yeah.
brother. Thank you, Amir.
Yes,
I
yes.
appreciate
Ladies and
it, bro.
gentlemen, that has been another episode of the TempahZone podcast. Make sure you tune in next week for a brand new episode. All righty, y'all. Peace out.
Peace.